Hola. Got a perspective for y'all on this beautiful day. I was thinking the other day about how the Bible was written. I did the video on the Essenes and just somewhat an overview on the Essenes and the Gnostics and their writing of the biblical text. You know, it took a group to be able to separate themselves from the world and to communicate all that they saw going on around them based upon the word of God that was being delivered to them. So, you fast forward all that to today, and you look at the goings on amongst the children, amongst the world as a whole, and you see these same dynamics being played out. All this stuff that's going on right now is the exact same stuff that was going on back in biblical times. The only difference is that the people of the time, there were some people during that time that knew the righteous way. They remembered, they knew the law, because it hadn't been so long since the people began to turn from the righteous way. It hadn't been that long. And there were many that were amongst the people that were still righteous. You had supernatural things going on then that people could put their finger on, angels speaking to people and people believing that they were angels. You have still many angels amongst men today. You still have angels walking amongst men and women today, yet you don't see them as that because you don't know the relation. You don't know what an angel actually is. You've been captivated and mesmerized and propaganded your way out of the truth by way of television, by way of media, by way of all these false images and idols that you've allowed yourself to be enamored by. So your perception of things is just not as it was. Our perception of things are not as they were back in biblical times, okay? So, it leads me to the conversation today of, who's writing our Bible now? Because we're currently living through biblical times again. But who's writing our Bible? Who are the prophets amongst the children? Who are the disciples? Who are the heretics? Who are the Pharisees? Who are the Satans? Who are these players in this big schematic? Who are the players? I can't help but to notice that many of us, the things that we go see at the movies, the things that we see on TV, all of our action figures, all of our superheroes and all these things were renowned people of old. Biblical people that all the spiritual texts are really based upon. These were real beings. Yet they've been kept in the mind by way of cartoonery, imagery that makes them seem as if they're science fiction, as if they're far away, but they were actually people that came into the world and made tremendous impacts in the world, that left their mark in the world for the future generations to be able to ascribe to be able to see someone that actually achieved a thing from nothing, achieved a thing and been able to assist in the righteousness of lifting all the people from nothing. Because what better hero do you have than a hero that comes from amongst you, that's just like you? These are the things, and these are the people of the Bible. And my question to you is, why are we continuously retelling these stories? Not as if they don't have any value, because they have tremendous value. But are we looking amongst the people that we live within this realm in today, and are we seeing their plight? Are we really looking at their plight and seeing it? Because a lot of the plights amongst the champions of this world, the people that overcome tremendous adversity, a lot of times by themselves, because in this world you overcome tremendous adversity by yourself because you're portrayed in a particular light where they want people not to be with you. So it's a lonely road. It is not a road filled with congratulations and acceptance and friends and support. It is not that. It is the total contradiction to that. And a lot of times people will be led to be against you when really, if they knew the truth of it, they would be wholeheartedly on your side. A lot of people will be led to be against you because they don't want to sacrifice the safety of all that they have either sacrificed for or all the safety that they wish to attain. Not knowing that that safety is the same safety that all of their ancestors have come before them to save them from. That safety is something that they shouldn't even desire. It's not safety. It's worldly things, which, worldly things are not bad. Worldly things are, you gotta, if you're in the world, you have to live in the world and accept things as they are. I get it. Things that are fundamental. You need to eat, you need shelter, you need food, you need water, you need certain resources. We all understand that. But all of the things that are going on nowadays, all of the struggles amongst the children are the same struggles, y'all. If you get nothing from me, you got to know that. And all of these pits, these fire pits, all of these lakes of fire were never once meant for the children. Yet the children must go. They must be purged through them because of the decisions they've made in this life. And it's a big, huge time waster for the generations because it takes a lot of time to go through that lake. It ain't just, okay, I'm going to go through the lake and then, no. And this is the part that they don't tell you. So many are giving what is perfect, what took much to perfect, what you can't put a price on. They're bartering it for nothing. For this life. This life is cool. But this is third grade. And who want to be stuck in third grade? This was on my spirit today. I get to thinking about all of the great ones of old, all of those that have come, and we see all these great movies of them, all the many that have come before us. We see all of these great movies that we see multi-million-dollar productions upon. They are based upon those people that have come before you, every last one of them. And their stories are legendary because they're based in truth. Yet you don't know it. You're the last to know. And it is important to remind the children. It is important for an older person like myself, I've lived 50 years. That means something. I've seen things. I've seen how one generation changed into another generation, and I can cross-reference the differences. And they are distinct. Yet this younger generation would know nothing of it, because I saw somebody talking about on social media, is it okay to tell the younger generation things? I come from a generation where you didn't even ask that question. So that lets me know that there's a distinct divide. You didn't even ask, could you tell the younger generation something? It was your responsibility to do that. All the generations before this generation did that by default because it was their responsibility to do that. How do you not do that? How do you allow someone to tell you that that's not okay? What culture amongst us doesn't do that? I want to know. What racial ethnic group amongst us within the world today doesn't do that? But yet we ask these questions. These are fundamental questions that no one should even ask. We should automatically do that out of love for one another. The older generation speak to the younger generation of things, not in condemnation, but in honesty and in truth, to show them that this is not what we have been doing, and this has led us to the hell that we're in right now. Not to say you gotta do it this way, but this is my truth. And I've lived long enough to be able to have the right to be able to expound upon it. These are our God-given rights. It's a crazy time right now that we're living in, y'all. Since when was it not okay to speak to the younger generation about guidance and direction? Every single generation. You need to ask your mother and father or your uncles and aunties. Did the older generation speak to y'all? And, I mean, every last one of them should say yes. And it's astounding that for some reason they feel as though that should stop now. That's crazy. And it's scary. Anyway, I'm going to do this again.